Aaron Vissia Financial Go Island is brought to you by Aaron Vissia Financial.
Hey there, you're watching Go Island, where today we're talking about fast boats. Well, hello there. You are watching Go Island. We are here at Sproat Lake talking about an event that's coming up that if you have the least bit of affinity for very fast boats and a day at the lake, you're going to love to know about. And Greg Steele is going to tell us about it. Greg, what's coming up?
Hi, we've got the Alberni Valley Regatta Association hosting their second annual boat race regatta.
Wow. Now, we had a camera out there last year. We're going to show you some footage in a little while. But this is the second annual. Why was it revived?
Well, the last regatta was in 1963, and it had over 200 participants and over 5,000 spectators. And a group of racers decided they wanted to revive it because they like racing boats.
Holy cow! I can't even imagine what that must have been like to have crowds like that. And it wasn't quite that big last year, but was it that exciting?
No, it was exciting. The vibe after our event last year was phenomenal. People talked about it for weeks.
Wow. And you know, if I can think of any place in the valley that could use a good vibe right now, it's got to be Sproat Lake. There's been a lot of negative news, but this is such a positive thing.
Yes, it's very positive. Even the vibe right now, people leading up to it. We've got boats coming from Alberta, all over the lower mainland and all over our own island.
So there's some boats behind us. Is this the kind of boat that we can expect to see racing?
Yes, very much. We can see these type of boats and even faster.
Wow, Greg, there is so much more to learn about the regatta that's coming up. We haven't even told you the exact date or where you should be. But first, Jenny Fortin checked out a different water sport right here on Sproat Lake that you're going to want to know about. And yeah, we were talking a little bit about the fire. It's on everybody's mind. Well, 4 years ago, there was another fire on Sproat Lake, and a businessman had to make the decision of whether he would stay or leave. It must be everyone's nightmare. A fire breaking out in the night, an alarm ringing in your ears as you struggle awake. For Jeff Stevenson, that nightmare became reality at 1 minute to midnight on March 23rd, 2011.
We're just turning around to go get my keys and my stuff out of my room, and I just thought to myself, this is when things go wrong. So I just bailed out of the building, and it was kind of hard to call 911 as your hands are shaking so much.
The building that he was escaping was Sproat Lake Landing, formerly the West Bay Hotel. But more than that, it was a dream that Jeff and his partners had purchased only 18 months earlier. A dream that was now in shambles.
It was a total loss. Kind of gut-wrenching, but it was the first of many emotions. After much deliberation, we decided we'll bulldoze and go through the process of starting something all over.
Starting over was nothing new for Jeff. He had relocated his young family from Ontario to pursue this dream.
We all knew that this was the right place to be. The area, the people, I'd been here long enough to know that and see that.
He'd also been on the lake long enough to become part of the community, a community that now rallied around him.
It actually got very emotional after the fire with the people that I had known out here. They'd be coming up and they were in tears, just sort of knowing what we had put into it and their expectations of what was coming up.
Well, we were devastated. We really were, because it wasn't like a business burnt down. It was like a friend's house burnt down, if that makes sense.
Buoyed up by the support he was receiving, Jeff and his partners began rebuilding, a process that has taken 4 years.
The first project was to get a new liquor store and grocery store up. So we got those up and running, and just as those were finishing, we had done all the groundwork to do the hotel building.
You only get one chance to make a first impression, a good first impression, and he waited until he could.
And what a first impression it is, because out of those ashes, Jeff has built a boutique hotel, a first-class restaurant and lounge, as well as the liquor and grocery stores, the economic impact of which on this small valley would be difficult to overestimate.
Now, I don't know how many people he's got working there now, but it's a large staff, and they're all local. And the people he hired from out of town, like they've moved to town, so you're getting more people into town.
And for Jeff, who now describes himself as a Laker for life, it's all part of belonging to and supporting an area that he's fallen in love with.
Most certainly. I think it's way underappreciated. The wildlife, the fish, the people, it's a much more relaxed feel, and that's, you know, we've got Tofino up the road, which is beautiful storm watching, and I think we like to think of ourselves as the calm before the storm.
For Go on Shaw TV, Soaking in the Calm, I'm Nancy Wilmot.
A bad habit is hard to get rid of. A good habit is hard to get rid of too, and paddling is a good habit.
Words can't really describe the serenity of dipping a paddle into the water. It's a perspective that can't be beat, and many Vancouver Islanders find themselves addicted to.
For me, it's all about the physical activity and keeping fit. It's also about great people that you paddle with. So it's with 6 people in a boat, you can get 6 compatible people that just really have a good time together.
And for paddlers Marianne and Paul, husband and wife, compatibility isn't really an issue. So let's just say there's another driving force for them when it comes to paddling.
We do compete against each other, and we are very competitive. We also race together, and we do very well together. Again, we're kind of competitive, so that helps. We're a little popular in that it's known that because we're so competitive, you need to put a few paddlers between us. So I usually stroke and Paul steers. But we've won together like that, so it's done very well.
Yeah, a lot of people think we're crazy because we do paddle all year round. We were actually paddling out in the middle of the winter if it's snowing. We just love the sport, and it's something once you try it, you get hooked. And I've raced all over the world, in Hawaii, Australia, California. So it's an opportunity to travel, to, you know, meet like-minded individuals. It's just a real community.
Marianne and Paul have been paddling for almost 15 years, competing internationally and enjoying every minute of it.
It's an amazing sport wherein you can literally go everywhere in the world and paddle anytime, anywhere. The canoe itself, as you see with the awm on the side, that's that funny little pontoon thing, keeps the canoe safe. So we've actually been out in 12 to 14-foot waves because with the pontoon on the side, it's called the awm, it keeps the boat safe so you can track down the wave and surf down it.
Once you've started racing an outrigger canoe, there's a thrill to it, and what you'll see today where we're doing some changes, it's a very exciting version of the sport where you're actually jumping in and out of the water at full speed, and so it's kind of the pinnacle of the outrigger racing to do change racing, so it's very exciting.
As extreme as it looks, today is just a practice. But the average outrigger change race can be anywhere from 500 meters to 40 kilometers, 60 kilometers, or even a 100-kilometer race.
A change race can be as long as 7 hours. So you can imagine it's probably pretty tough to be in a boat and paddle straight for 7 hours. So the idea of a change race is part of the crew gets into another boat and they refuel, they relax so that you can, you know, basically race at high speed and still not completely tire yourself out.
And as long as the races might be, I don't see this husband and wife team fading out anytime soon. In fact, they want to spread their love for paddling across the island.
August 1st, we're having a demonstrator day. We would love it if everybody came. We will have dragon boats here. We will have outriggers here. We will also have some whitewater kayaks, which are safer. They're less tippy. Everyone can come down, sign a waiver, get in a boat and try it. And I'll share the love with you.
The paddle demonstration weekend will be on August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at the wharf at Drinkwater Social House, where this group is hoping you'll fall in love with paddling and make it your new habit. For Go, On Shaw TV, I'm Jenny Fortin.
Now, we haven't told you this yet, but the Sproat Lake Regatta Association actually supports and encourages all of the recreational users on the lake. And the paddle weekend coming up in August is just one of the events they're hosting. It's really a great one. We'll be telling you more about it as it gets a little bit closer, and I'm guessing Jenny will be out there with a camera. But first, we've been talking about the big race weekend coming up. And of course, we have to talk to a couple of racers. I'm here with Neil Pfeffers and Tyler Mearns. You guys are, well, you said just maybe racing. We're going to convince you that you're going in for sure. Neil, you raced last year?
Yeah, I raced last year. It was lots of fun. Looking forward to it again this year.
How did you do?
I won because I was the only one in my class.
Okay, that's cheating. Now, I know that that's because you're the youngest racer, right?
Yeah, the youngest, and it was the smallest motor size, so no one else really had anything to compete with me, so.
Is there better competition this year?
I hope so.
Well, I hope so too, but why did you come back? It must have been a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it was lots of fun, yeah.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about your boat.
I've had it for a few years. Haven't really had much time to run it, but it's lots of fun. It goes pretty good.
How fast does it go?
About 50, I think.
Okay, that's fast as stink, I think. Yeah. Now, we were saying we have to convince Tyler to go in for sure. You said you were still sitting on the fence. How come?
Well, I actually have two boats right now, and I was supposed to race the new one. I raced that one last year, and the new one's not quite ready, so we don't know yet. We'll see.
Okay, you raced this one last year. How'd you do last year?
Well, I got first place as well, but it was default because the other guy broke down.
Okay, I've got two first places here, and neither of you had any real competition. You guys, you need more competition.
That's right, we do.
Is it too late for people to register?
No, you can register. No one's registered yet, so.
Unbelievable. You got to register because Sproat Lake needs some positive news, and I tell you, these guys, their boat says is positive. So come on out and register. I think you can do that probably online, or there's a Facebook page?
Yeah, you can do it online, and you can register at the boat show on the Friday night, and I'm sure on Saturday morning as well, before the races. Earlier the better. Earlier
the better, and you're going to want to get down and see these guys. We're going to tell you all of the details you need to know to get down here on time to see these guys in just a few minutes. But first, we're going to take a stroll down Art Avenue with Melissa Martin. And did you know there was a provincial championship held in the Valley just a few short days ago? Well, there was, and Jenny Fortin was there.
Sure, rolling a ball down the lawn doesn't really look that difficult. But try maintaining your focus and accuracy in the blistering hot sun for the length of an average, 3-hour game.
I would watch lawn bowls on occasions, and I thought, no way would I ever play that. It's not nearly active enough or whatever. And my club was short a player one day, and they called me in and said, would you just spare? And I threw my first 4 lawn bowls, and I was totally hooked. It's a sport that grabs you.
The ringing of the bell symbolizes the start of the games, a time when every bowl counts and strategies come into play.
It's an intricate game. It's definitely difficult. There's a lot of strategy involved. It's not all skill, although that really helps. Natural ability comes into it a lot too, but a lot of it is just like focus and practice and just being consistent.
And just like any other sport, strategies differ among athletes.
I relax, and then I observe the green. I try to study the green with the green, and then I also observe my opponent, how they play, and then I plan my strategy.
The problem is, in a tournament of this caliber, nerves can strike at any point in time.
In a tournament like this, I'm thinking about playing well with my team, just focusing on every bowl and knowing that it all pays off in the end if you work hard.
Bowl after bowl was released on the green. This year's Provincial Fours Women's Championship in Port Alberni was a great display of endurance, talent, and sportsmanship.
It's a great honor to host a provincial championship. Yeah, the caliber is very, very high. There's some great players here, some national champions that play out of provincial clubs. And 2 teams from Port Alberni are participating, which is fabulous for the club, fabulous for the community.
In the end, a good time was had by all participants. The winning team will have a chance to represent BC at the National Lawn Bowling Championships. And it turns out, lawn bowling proved itself to be a competitive, strategic, and difficult sport to play. For Go on Shaw TV, I'm Jenny Fortin.
Have you ever wished that a carnival would come to Port Alberni? Well, now's your chance. The Carnival Our Town is happening at Williamson Park on July 21st from 6 to 8 p.m. We'll have carnival games, bouncy tents, popcorn, drinks, and much more. Come on out for some free family fun.
Welcome to another edition of Art Avenue. I'm Melissa Martin, and these are standing in the gardens of the Roland Art Centre, and these are wonderful logs that have been given to us by the Shashot Band here in Port Alberni. And stay tuned because there are some wonderful things that are going to be happening with these great logs. A few things that are happening at the Roland Art Centre you won't want to miss is our next art exhibit, and that is by Ryan Price, and it's titled Wild West Coast. And he is a mixed media artist that does some airbrushing and other wonderful things, so don't miss that one at the Roland Art Centre. That begins July 14th and ends on August 8th. His artist reception is Saturday, July 18th from 1 until 3 here at the Roland Art Centre. And our next teas are coming up. July 16th is the Folk Song Circle, as well as on July 23rd, that's Mr. Ross and the Boss, and he does keyboards and guitars and sings some old-time favorites. So those tickets are still available, but they do sell out fast, so pop in at the Roland Art Centre and pick up your tickets today. A few concerts that are happening here in Port Alberni. The Rainbow Room is having Brick House, and they are Vancouver's hippest blues funk band, and that's happening Friday, July 17th. Doors open up at 8 p.m. And Shars Landing are having a few events that I wanted to mention. Thursday, July 23rd from 7 to 9, Alberni Valley Words on Fire. Saturday, July 25th is a casual concert, and that happens at 6 p.m., so that's a bit earlier than most. And that's Slow Tom, supporting the Tsunami Hogs, and that's their 3rd Avenue event. And then there's some concerts that are happening there on Tuesday, July 17th. Nope, I'm lying. That's Tuesday, July 14th with Sarah Smith, and that's a full-on rock band. Thursday, July 16th is a band from South Africa, and I don't even want to embarrass myself because I won't be able to pronounce their name, but their name will be mentioned here on the screen. Friday, July 17th, Jeffrey Straker, and that is his CD release tour, and that is folk and pop. And Sunday, July 19th is Patchy Sanders, and that's an Oregon-based folk alternative orchestra. Sorry about that. And Sunday, July 26th is Anita, and that's a new concert happening there. So all those tickets are available at Shars Landing in advance. Well, that's it for another edition of Art Avenue, but I want to remind you to stop in the Roland Art Centre to pick up your tickets for Teas on the Terrace, because those do sell out fast. And stay tuned because we'll have more information about these wonderful cedar logs, that something and a big event's going to happen here at the Roland Art Centre coming soon. So until next time, I'm Melissa Martin.
You know, it never ceases to amaze me how much is going on in Port Alberni. I think Melissa's doing a great job of keeping everybody updated. Now, we're going to take a bit of a break. I'm going to kind of cool my feet off in the lake water here, so please stay with us. Well, welcome back. You are still watching Go Island. We are still here at Sproat Lake talking about the upcoming Sproat Lake Regatta. And you know, before the cameras were turned on, one of these wags behind the camera said, oh, racers are all the same. They don't register until the morning of the race. But this isn't what you want to happen, is it? You want them to register now.
No, we want people to register so we can put our program together and we know, how many boats we'll have in each event type of thing. But
and we need lots of boats because those two guys need competition.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. Well, there's going to be a lot of competition this year for them.
Excellent. So how do people register?
They can register. There's all the marinas or marine places in town have registration forms. You can also pick them up at Exhaust Masters in town, and the drop-off is Exhaust Masters in town. Or you can register at our show and shine, which is going to be on July 17th at Chevy dealership up on Johnson from 4 to 9 p.m. And you're going to see a lot of beautiful boats up there.
And that's kind of the kickoff to this whole weekend, is it? The show and shine, because that's a Friday night.
Yes, it is.
And then Saturday, what happens after that? I shouldn't even put words in your mouth.
Well, Saturday morning, July 18th, is when our races start, and they're hosted just down the way of the lake at our Sprout Lake Provincial Park.
Excellent. And where is the best place to view? From there?
From the park itself, and it's a free event.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is more than just a lot of fast boats. It's going to be a lot of fun on shore, too.
Oh, there is, too. We've got a bit of demonstrations. We've got dragon boats and outrigger canoes, and we'll have hopefully some kayaks and stand-up paddle boards that somebody can take out and race each other off the shore.
And are there going to be refreshments available?
Yes, we have vendors on site, so there's anything you want to have throughout the day.
Wow, this is so neat. And like we've been saying this all the way through, this lake needs something positive happening.
Oh yes, this is very positive. You know, people enjoyed it last year. Like I said before, the vibe is outstanding.
The vibe is outstanding. Is this going to go on despite what's happening across the lake?
The only thing that'll stop us is wind. We'll even race in the rain.
Well, there you have it. It's going to go ahead no matter what, unless it gets overly windy, but we'll tell you about that if it does. Sprout Lake Regatta, the 17th, 18th, and 19th. Great event, great positive event. And since we've been telling you about how great it is, we're going to give you a peek at last year's regatta that Jenny shot.
Some of my fondest memories way back when were going to the regatta with my dad when he was still alive. And I think it was late 50s, early 60s, we went to the last one before he passed away.
It was 2 years ago that Leo was inspired to pick up a bear haul and build a tribute boat for the revival of the Port Alberni Regatta.
It's an 18-foot Bitz ski hydro. It's got a 468 big block Chevy in it, supercharged, 2 Holly carbs, and V-drive prop. And we finally got it all together. Basically, it's all rebuilt from the bottom up.
And after some last-minute engine tweaking, Leo is ready to approach the start line and blow the crowd away.
When you first get it going, it tries to lift up, tries to pull the front end up out of the water pretty high, but as soon as you get into the throttle, get the speed on, it just drives the nose into the water and flattens right out, and it just feels really good and solid. It's a real good ride.
But Leo wasn't the only one enjoying the high-speed adrenaline rush.
Some people think we're insane, you know, but I had a couple of races and it just gets to you, you know, it's like an adrenaline rush and you just can't help but want to do it.
8 different classes, outboard versus inboard motors, and experienced racers taking on first-time racers. It was a good show for everybody.
We have them from 50 horse power and under classes right up to the most common is 200 horse to 300 horse. And then we have one here that's about 520 horses, so it varies.
At the end of the day, it really didn't matter what class was racing. The spectators enjoyed the show, the drivers had a blast, and the revival of the regatta was a success.
It's good for the community as a whole. I mean, the City Council is behind us, the Chamber of Commerce, the Sprout Lake Community Association, and there's been so much interest in it, so many people asking us for it, that we thought we should at least take a couple steps to try and make it happen.
As for Leo, you could say he's already got the racing itch for next year.
It handles beautifully, seems to have lots of power, maybe more than what I want. But we seem to have it all sorted out now and we're ready to go.
In Port Alberni, I'm Jenny Fortin.
Hi, I'm Natalie from the Maritime Discovery Center. Have you ever wanted to learn more about ocean sciences? On July 18th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. we're having our Saturday by the Seas Ocean Sciences Day, and we hope that you invite all your friends and family.
Well, that does bring us to the end of another Go Island. I'm going to try and talk Neil into taking me out in his little boat. He wouldn't do that last year, but maybe this year is the charm. Until we meet again, be good to each other.
Aaron Vissia Financial Go Island is brought to you by Aaron Vissia Financial, supporting community and providing personalized advice and service to clients since 1996. Our team is ready to help you with your financial future.